What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video. Today, we're talking about Black Ops 4 and its 1 year anniversary. Now, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 was riding on the success that Black Ops 3 had, while not being a direct sequel and instead was a prequel series. The main issue with Black Ops 4 is that it is everything Black Ops 3 is, but boots on the ground and with a new healing mechanic, but was somehow worse in a lot of ways. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is a tale of good and evil, and has been since its inception. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is the most updated game, but in the wrong ways, and here's why. Black Ops 4 at launch was a great gaming experience because the game is polished and had a bunch of stuff to do, but after the first 3 months, we started to realize the game was not as good as we thought, because Blackout, the Battle Royale, was the forefront of all of it. First of all, the campaign wasn't even a feature in the game, and even worse was the multiplayer with new DLC maps every once in a while, but the game felt fresh. But it wasn't really fresh at all. The maps were all bad besides the remakes, and that's not how you want your DLC season to go, especially because you get to pay $50 for the patch just to access the content, and you can't buy them separately. Now, we're coming to an era where DLC maps are free, kind of like Fortnite. But, you see, Fortnite took the gaming world by storm. We can tell that Black Ops 4 needed a Battle Royale just to be like Fortnite. But that wasn't what we needed. Black Ops 4 had weapons, DLC weapons, but they were in supply drops for the longest time.
Eliminated.
Now, what's even worse is when the Blackout came out, we could tell this is where their priorities went. Blackout is what they wanted. They had to make it a few months down the road, and we knew this was the way it was going to be. The game wasn't polished. The only guns, there were Blackout exclusive weapons like the MP40 and the Galil, which weren't even in multiplayer. Only was the Grav recently added into multiplayer. But what's even worse? Oh man, zombies took an even bigger hit. With the maps, there was only 4 maps at launch, and they weren't even good. Only 4 of them, only 3 of them were even good. And those maps were 9. Those maps were only 9. Those maps were only 9. Blood of the Dead and maybe Classified and those were only launch good maps. Voyage was trash. They weren't that good, and considering that all the Ether maps are all remakes, the only new maps were the Chaos maps. Considering that Blood of the Dead is a remake for the Ether of Mob of the Dead for the Ether. Tag Your Totem is a remake of Call of the Dead. Classified is a remake of 5. Alpha Omega is a remake of Nuketown. For crying out loud. They aren't new maps. The last map we've had hasn't been since Black Ops 3. But all of those modes, Black Ops 1, 2, and 3 were bursting with ambition and added new innovation to the game. Black Ops 4 didn't add anything. Even then, the elixirs weren't even as good as the Gallagum system from Black Ops 3. Because I had bursting with ambition, it was new and not just a remake of something. Now, Black Ops 4 isn't a bad game, by any means. It had a bunch of overpowered weapons like the ICR, Grip 1 and 2, and the Spitfire. But the fact that Black Ops 4 generally looked worse than Black Ops 3 is saying something. The game doesn't feel good as Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3 just feels better. It feels natural. Black Ops 3 had the worst supply drop system, okay? We know this. We know Black Ops 3 had the worst supply drop system. But the game has lasted for many years. It looks good, it plays good, it feels good. The maps were good, the game was fun. The game wasn't broken at release, like a lot of Black Ops 4 was. Black Ops 4 had many overpowered weapons. The main overpowered weapons in Black Ops 3 at launch were nothing. They're a lot of fair. The ICR and the KN are still one of the best guns in the game, but everyone gets those practically instantly, along with the ICR from Black Ops 4, but you still have, that's like the first gun you get, but you still have to rank up to get Grip 1 and 2 at launch. And even then, it was still really good. The Titan you get at release is overpowered. You didn't have to earn it. But weapons like the Razorback you had to earn, which was pretty good. Weapons like the Dingo you didn't have to really earn, but you still had to earn it at some point. And even then, the supply drop weapons you had to get. You weren't just given the best supply drop weapons in Black Ops 3, like in BO4. BO4's best weapons are DLC guns, and that shouldn't be the way it is. Because a lot of the DLC weapons you can't earn in-game. You can't. But in Black Ops 3, you can't either. Black Ops 4, you can't either. You used to be able to, but BO3 had free triple plays instead of having to grind for 16 hours, for 8 hours a day, just to get tier progression in Blackout, just to get at least maybe 5 tiers a day. But in that time, you could get about 50 matches completed, and you could win 50 of those matches in 8 hours. to get a supply drop, to get a free triple play. And even then, that came with a weapon bribe, okay? It didn't just guarantee you a melee at that point. You could select between weapons. And even then, there was enough of those triple plays around the game to give you the weapons. But with Black Ops 4, that's not possible. You have to buy the triple play. And even then, you get a little ultra weapon bribe, but okay. What's the point in it when you can still earn Mark II weapon variants out of it? And I don't think that should be a good thing. That's not a good thing. That shouldn't be a thing at the end of the day. But, I mean, even then, Black Ops 4 is a hollow shell of Black Ops 3. I think Black Ops 4 was made not to cash in, but to be a substitute for Modern Warfare before it released. You can see this in many areas, how reloading animations are reused. A lot of the DLC weapons since the game has been idealized for DLC weapons and supply drops, they've been remakes. The Argus was a remake, the Locust was a remake, pretty much the Crossbow was a remake. Heck, the A94 is a remake, the M16 is a remake. A lot of the weapons in the game is a remake. Heck, the ICR is remade, the KNs is remade. The only guns that aren't is the Spitfire's a remake of the VMPs, the Vesper. It's a remake of the Vesper, not the VMP. But even then, the VMP's in Black Ops 4 now. They're all remakes. They're not new ideas. The camos looked worse than BO4 than BO3. I will say Black Ops 3 didn't have Diamond to good, and BO4's Diamond is really good. But the Dark Matter looks generally worse than BO4 than BO3, and that's saying something. A game that's 4 years old almost looks better than a game that's a year old, and that's sad. The game's art direction of Black Ops 3 just looks generally better. The game plays and feels a lot better. The specialists were ideas, new. They weren't just cheap cash-ins. Like in BO4, they're all remakes in BO4 with new mechanics. They're just not great. But Black Ops 3 just all the specialists weren't remakes. They were actually worth it things to use than in Black Ops 3. And I think that's where the game went wrong. Specialists in Black Ops 3 worked well. They fit the game. In BO4, it's just a cheap kill. In Black Ops 3, you actually had to aim with them. I mean, gravity spikes, granted, you didn't have to aim with them, but it wasn't a big blast radius. In Black Ops 3, the Spare, you had to aim, you couldn't just spam it. The Reaper, you actually had to aim, and you couldn't just spam it. The War Machine, you could spam it and get kills. But that's just the War Machine. It's a spam gun. I think if it had more of a fire rate, it would be better. But even then, things like the Tempest, it's overpowered. The Annihilator's pretty good, but it's not just a spam gun. But at the end of the day, a lot of the things in BO4 could have been done better if they didn't release it. If they would have just kept updating Black Ops 3 and just released it again at this point and said, here you guys go. Now this new game, Black Ops 3 is our game, we're just going to consistently update it, I would have been fine with it. The maps in BO4 aren't as good as BO3, they look worse than BO3, and that's just that. The zombies in BO3 is better, the multiplayer in BO3 is better, the only good thing about Black Ops 4 is Blackout. The game needs to be sold for $20 constantly, or even made free to play, because the microtransactions make the game. That's just me. With that out of the way, hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you guys did, please drop a like, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.
That's a kill. This battle is ours to lose. Hostile UAV above. Frag! Be advised. Hostile care package overhead. Friendly UAV inbound. Lethal! Friendly helmet inbound. CDP stands strong.
Request immediate AAR and redeploy.
You're dead already. You just don't realize it yet.
Team deathmatch.
Stay out of my way. I've worked here.
Black Ops. Weapons high.
That's a kill. Smoke, check. Smoke, check. Nomad, KIA.
Be advised, hostile UAV incoming.